everyone to our wonderful podcast we're going to have today. And you're really in luck because Eliza Shah, PhD, CPBC, is going to speak to us. Now, if I had to describe Eliza to you, I would say she is the strongest, smartest, most compassionate, competent woman I know, wrapped up in a cotton ball. She's just all of that. She's just sweet and wonderful, but don't think that that doesn't mean that she's not the smartest chick on the block, because she is. And so you're lucky today. You're going to get to hear from her, and she's going to talk to us today about the one-page business plan. I could go on and on and on about all of the good stuff she does, but you'd rather hear from Eliza. So take it away, Eliza.
Thank you, Thomasina. Right back at you. So welcome, everyone. I don't know whether you're watching this down the line as a recording or whether you're here in attendance, but we have quite a few people here. And what I'm going to talk to you about today is a tool that you may have heard of before. It's called the One-Page Business Plan. And it's a tool that we here at DPC use to help our clients think through the things that are hard to think through and get it down on paper so that it can be referred to throughout the year and used as a guidepost, sometimes used for forensic analysis of what we've forgotten. And it's a wonderful, wonderful tool that I learned about initially from Thomasina Skipper and received my training from another DPC member, Tony Neal. So this simple business planning tool was created back in, I think, 1994 by Jim Horan, who's a Professional Business Coach Alliance coach, since passed away, and then was developed into an online tool that allows you to electronically confer with clients and create a plan for them using almost a fill in the blank kind of structure, and pairing that with coaching questions and testing assumptions that coaches can do. It helps you, the client, to figure out what you're about and how to get there. So I'm going to share a few slides with you and just talk through what the one-page business plan is and how it is that we use it. Are you able to see my slides? Okay, so the one-page business plan allows leaders to cascade their vision with objectives that are quantifiable and measurable, strategies aimed towards achieving those objectives and landing up in that vision, and actions that are indicated by those strategies. And it allows you to communicate that vision throughout the year to your team in such a way that all the things that need to happen to arrive at that vision happen. And it's the fastest and easiest way I know of to write a business plan. It's also the smartest way to focus all year long. So I just want to share this tool with you and have you understand that this is something that many members of the DPC have been trained in utilizing as coaches with their clients. And more than the software or the plan itself that you're going to see here, which is rather simple, it's the conversation that we end up having around the questions that we ask and explore together that get you, the client, really clear on what you want, how you're going to measure whether you're getting there, and what kind of strategies and steps you can take to bring it about. So kind of at the very top level, the one-page business plan describes the future. It clarifies the purpose and the passion that's driving that future, defines and, more importantly, quantifies the goals. So how are we going to know that we're getting to these goals? It takes it from the vague to the concrete and measurable. And then you create a blueprint for those goals. What are the strategies you're going to use to achieve these results? And lastly, falling out of those strategies, what are the actions you're going to take? in the next period of time. Now, I want to reiterate here, this plan can be used by individuals who are trying to achieve a project over a course of time. It can be used by large organizations, department heads, teams, product development teams. It can be used by any individual or group of people who are trying to accomplish something together. And it really, literally, gets them all on the same page. So the best way to understand the one-page business plan is to read one. And so I have an example here from Tony Neal I mentioned earlier. This is a vision produced by working with a real-life client utilizing the one-page business plan process. The question you're asking in the vision section of the one-page business plan is, what are we building? And in this case, it was a window company. Within the next 3 years, time bounded, we'll grow Colorado Window Company into a national, regionally scoped, $40 million, sized in terms of dollars, home products company, defined in terms of sector, specializing in manufacturing and distributing custom and replacement garden windows, further scoped in terms of sector, and skylights to whom? Baby boomers and home remodelers, distributed through big box retail stores. So here you have the time frame, the region, the sector, the size of the market that they want to own, and specifically the segment of the market that they're focused upon, right here in the vision statement. So moving to the next section, which is mission, it's a much more concise description of why. What are they doing? What's the purpose? What's the driving force behind this? Why does the business or department, in the case where that's what you're working with, exist? Colorado Garden Window Company, bringing you light, air, and the beauty of nature. Isn't that a lovely way to express what a window does? So mission statements describe why the business exists and the benefit customers will receive. Simple, highly motivating. Objectives. The key here is measurable. And in the one-page business plan, we're going to project a from and a to. Where are we today and where are we going to get within the specified time frame? So what will we measure? Increase gross volume revenue 15% from 14.4 to 17 million. Expand profit before tax from 4.7 to 5.5 million. Very specific, and both endpoints have been identified. Reduce cost of goods from 42% to 38%. Lower distribution costs from 9% to 4% of gross sales. Shrink inventory from 5.1 to 3.3 months by August 31st. Advance active store count from 795 to 4,500 by year end. You can imagine there's going to be a strategy attached to that one. Improve on-time delivery from 81% to 98%. Now, that's ambitious. So just to point out here, and I'll point out this to you again, when I'm working with a client, it isn't always the increases that we're going to uncover first. Oftentimes, it's the things we want to go away, like, high distribution costs. The things that are easier for them to identify, maybe it's negativity bias, is the things that we want to see shrink or lower. And then we can move from those through the coaching, through the ideation, through the conversation to the things that are more ambitious and put numbers on them so that we can begin to develop strategy. And that's next. So strategies, how will we grow this business or department? Strategies are broad statements that describe how the business will be built and what will make it successful over time. So now remember, we had some objectives, and you're going to see that strategies corresponding to those objectives are here in this finalized business plan. And that's a process to get to that point. It's messy along the way. This is the one page, the final product. So first, attract new customers with targeted print ads, Home Depot promos, and selling directly to contractors. Reduce cost of goods by manufacture in-house, reduce number of vendors, and QC double check. Become vendor of choice with price, inventory of standard sizes, and 2-day delivery. So that's a decision that's been made. Standard sizes. It's a move away from perhaps bespoke or custom towards something that's more defined and specific inventory categories. Grow custom window division with aggressive marketing to contractors, so business to business arrangements and partnerships. Large home builders and remodeling contractors. Boost manufacturing capacity and efficiency with simplified product line, tightly controlled and documented systems. Speed up distribution with one hub, 2-day delivery, and streamlined picking. Hire and retain best workforce with great place to work program, liberal benefits package, and monthly extras. Now, this is something that came up through the coaching conversation. How does your people strategy influence all the other aspects of reaching your objectives? And that's something that very often people will overlook or in some cases overemphasize. So the balance here between nitty-gritty things having to do with the distribution model compared to hiring practices and culture, workplace culture, is what I want you to be aware of. And that's where having a coach work with you through something like a one-page business plan exercise on an annual basis will keep you on track and moving forward towards your goals. So lastly, what are the actions that can be taken to operationalize these strategies? What is the work to be done this year? Introduce new scenic garden window at the Home Products Show in March. Expand sales department, focus on signature homes in Denver and Provo by April 1. Introduce inventory reduction program company-wide by May 1st. Implement new MRP software to achieve inventory reduction by July 1. Complete skylight production rationalization program by August 15. Research, design, and roll out redesign employee benefit program by October 1. That's a big project. You see, it's not happening in Q1, and they're not holding themselves accountable for that in Q1. There's other things happening in Q1 and Q2. But this is something they need to have their eyes on, because to arrive at that by October 1st, there's a whole subset of actions that need to be taken. Those aren't here on the one-page business plan, but those are on the one-page business plan of the person who's point person for developing that redesigned employee benefit program, or the committee or study group who's got to you begin that process in Q1. So you can see where, when I said at the beginning, the one-page business plan allows you to cascade strategic vision down through an organization, and individuals have their very own one-page business plan. That's how it works. Complete product distribution consolidation project by November 15th. And as I pointed out a moment ago, these dates are cascaded throughout the year. So it's realistic. And in April, you're not already disappointed in yourself for yet again not having redesigned that employee benefit program, but it's been paced out so that it's given the respect and the attention it needs. All right, now back to what were those questions we were answering and what are those areas called? We begin with vision, in the green circle, mission, orange strategy, yellow actions, And I skipped objectives. So vision, mission, objectives. What will we measure? Strategy, how will we grow and improve? And what's the work to be done? What are the actions to be taken? Now, the power and the magic of the tool called the one-page business plan. I mean, anyone can take a piece of paper and write those 5 words down the margin and start filling it in. The power and the magic of the one-page business plan, as configured by the company one-page business plan, is that they provide templates that provide the beginning point for a conversation between the coach and the client. And they allow us to probe and look comprehensively at all the many things that could be put in the blanks on those templates. So it's not a substitute for thinking, but it's a great way to begin, and it takes the effort out. It makes it, honestly, enjoyable and doable. So again, what are we building? Why does this business exist? What will we measure? How will we grow and improve? And what is the work to be done? These are the questions. And on the one-page business plan, you'll see that it's both strategic and it's tactical. The mission, the vision, and the strategies are the strategic long view. The tactical are what are the actions to be taken and how will we measure our progress? So it's both all in one page. And I mentioned this earlier, and I really think it's an important point. It's a discovery of mine, is that I often begin the conversation with, what do you want to see less of? Less client attrition, less no-shows, fewer no thank yous, fewer errors, fewer compliance problems, less shrinkage. You know, these kinds of things are what we'd like to see less of. And that's often the place where people are really prepared to start, because that's the pain points. Then we get aspirational with, we want new clients. We want higher renewal rates. Dare I say, a better close ratio. Could I be asking people to do referrals? How would I do that? And these are the conversations we have all around these prompts, these fill in the blank prompts that the software provides. And lastly, when we get those action items, some of them we may say, okay, yeah, this has to happen, but it's not a top level action. That's going to fall onto another business plan that's someone else's responsibility to manage and deliver upon. Or, like I pointed out earlier, okay, this needs to happen, but it all doesn't have to happen in Q1. And it certainly all shouldn't be left for Q4. So where are we going to lay these initiatives out in terms of process? What needs to happen first? What's most important? What's a long lead item? And we lay it all out so the whole year isn't pressing upon a leader from day one, because that's not healthy. So the way I work with clients and the way I was trained to work with clients is it's an iterative process. We go through 3 revisions of the one-page business plan. And the first time we go through it, it's often, there's a lot of blanks, you know, it's fill in the blank. But for example, on the objectives, we may not know what the from number is, and we certainly may not know what the to number is, and we don't want to put something in there that's so pie in the sky that it doesn't allow us to succeed. So maybe after that first conversation, which is about an hour, and I usually give an hour and 15 minutes, there might be a lot of, you know, go find this, go fetch this piece of information, talk to somebody or other to get more concrete on where are we now and what can we realistically commit to this year in terms of a goal or an objective that's quantifiable. So that's the first revision, maybe a lot of information yet to be gotten. Second revision, which I might have a week or 2 later, is to get those numbers into the plan and start talking it through. Can you commit to this? Is this what you want to do this year, or perhaps might it be in next year's plan? And we work through and parse through those objective statements, strategies that they may have researched in the meantime. There's meetings that they may have with their team, or we might have together with the leadership team looking at feasibility and timing. And then is the third revision, which is finally going through it after all the fact finding and soul searching has taken place, and the buy-in has been gotten with the teams and the people who are going to have to implement this process. And once you've got that, you've got a finalized business plan. And I'm going to say we usually complete these in December, maybe bleeding over into January. We post it visibly for easy reference and transparency on the team, and we revisit it quarterly at least. Some of these goals, you're not visiting on a weekly basis, but it pairs very nicely with another system that we use at DPC and PBCA, which is the business operating system. And those are a regular cadence of weekly meetings where these metrics are looked in upon and accountability is kept. So cascading through the organization, I mentioned this at the very start, everyone's all on the same page. The executive leader, if there is one, leadership team, departments, project teams, individual contributors, business owners, floor manufacturing supervisors, everyone can have their own one-page business plan. It takes about, let's say, 4 hours to put it together and yields returns throughout the year and beyond. So that's my primer on the one-page business plan and how I use it with clients and how we use it with clients. Within the DPC, we have coaches who have experience in manufacturing, retail, franchising, financial services is a big area of expertise for many of us. And we're more than happy to discuss with you what your one-page business plan might look like. So know that we're here and feel welcome to reach out.
Thank you so much for that, Eliza.